Okay, so I know some people think holidays should be kept to their respective months, but I do begin celebrating Halloween and Christmas months ahead of time. Speaking of the latter, I do have a story regarding it, actually involving my parents. That won't be posted until December, though. For now, I'll pick up where I left off last week since I don't really have anything new to talk about. In my experience, nothing makes one more vulnerable than being unprepared. For us, that's pretty much the situation we were about to be in. There was only about a day until the next experience would occur. That meant we needed to scramble to prepare for it. We discussed this while waiting in line at a Wendy's drive-thru, and for the first time during our trip, I was the one driving. It felt good to be behind the wheel again. Nick was in the back seat. "Don't you still have your gun?" he asked Carl. "No, it's in the unicorn's world. Sure would come in handy right about now." "Wait, so you're telling me we're about to deal with God only knows what, and all we've got to defend ourselves with are crossbows?" That pretty much sums up our situation. Yeah. They hardly helped against the toad. Whatever we're going to be up against will be even worse. "We could always buy a gun," I said. "That would require me showing my ID, not to mention waiting for a background check." "What if we could find a gun show? If we found a seller who'd be willing to shorten the process for us, we'd be in a much better spot." My gun was over $2,000. Do you know how much it would cost to buy it along with ammo plus bribing salesmen? "Then what do you suggest?" "I don't know yet. I'm trying to think." "We got two number fours with a Coke and a number six with no mayo and cheese plus a Fanta." Carl spoke up again after we were back on the road. "Okay, so I think the best we could do, given our situation, is to get some melee weapons. We just need to find a store that sells some. Luckily, there happened to be a Home Depot nearby. Once we finished eating, we headed inside. The name of the game here is Sharp, Fast, and Durable," Carl told us. "What about these?" Nick asked, pointing to some chainsaws. "Too heavy and noisy." Carl noticed some axes and machetes further down the aisle. "These, however, might work." In total, we got 3 axes, 6 machetes, a sharpener, and some other items that I won't mention here. Let's just say Carl can be creative when given the right materials. Now that we were at least somewhat ready for what was to come, we needed to figure out the best place to wait for it. "I say we keep driving. Maybe we can outrun whatever shows up," Nick said. "You know it's not going to be that easy," I replied. "Yeah, but a little wishful thinking can't hurt, right?" "We could go somewhere more open," Carl suggested. "That way we could see what's coming. Then again, we would have less cover." It was a tough choice to make. For all we knew, the next thing that would happen would be some trees going Evil Dead on us. The choice would have to wait, though, since we were getting tired. We found a hotel and pulled over for the night. Another thing that felt really good was waking up the next day and not having to reach for some crutches. "Well," Carl said, "let's see what Indy has in store for us this time." "Indy?" I inquired. "Name's too long, so I shortened it." "Oh, by the way, where's Nick?" "Getting breakfast. Now that you mention it, I could use a bite too." Once I got ready, I headed to the lobby. Nick sat at the table with a stack of waffles and some orange juice. "What is that?" I asked, pointing to something on his stack. "Blueberry yogurt. The syrup tastes like garbage, so I improvised. It actually tastes pretty good. You should try it." "I think I'll taste a little syrup first." As soon as it touched my tongue, I spit into the trash. Jesus Christ, what the fuck are they putting into this stuff? "Told you." I went with his suggestion. It was actually pretty good. I went with the strawberry yogurt. I also got some apple juice, cinnamon toast crunch, and a bagel with cream cheese. Carl joined us shortly and grabbed some bacon, eggs with cheese, toast, and coffee. "What time is it?" I asked, biting into a bagel. "Shouldn't be later than 10, Carl replied. "Why?" "It's just that it seems kind of weird. Nobody else is in here right now." The moment the words left my mouth, we realized the situation we were in. We looked outside and saw that there was nothing. The businesses surrounding the hotel were all gone. "This shouldn't be happening until later," I said, feeling panic build within me. "What gives?" "Maybe we slept late." "But Nick was keeping watch, right?" We glanced at him. "Yeah, I was awake the entire time." "Try to remember," I said to him. "Was there any point last night where you started to nod off, even for a second?" "No, I—" He paused, remembering something. "Wait, shit. There was one time. It couldn't have been more than an hour before you guys woke up, though. Maybe it did something to us to make us sleep longer back at the house," Carl told us. "That Eldrick bastard," I said. "Well, the cars are still outside, so we can at least grab our weapons. Let's get our things from the room first." It was a good thing we spent some time sharpening them the previous night. Hopefully, they'd be able to cut through whatever threat was in store for us. "What should we do now?" Nick asked once we got our things from the trunk. "Drive," Carl said. We did so in silence. Tension was high as we kept an eye out for whatever Interframist was going to send our way. It wasn't long before it arrived. Without warning, the ground began shaking. "Oh, here we go," I said. "Carl, on it." What happened next was what I like to call some fucking horse shit. God damn, lightning began striking around the car. Seeing as how we were in a car, that may not sound so bad. Unfortunately, whatever part of the ground it struck crumbled away, thus upping the oh shitness of the situation. Carl tried speeding up as pieces of the road kept falling away. Soon, even the road in front of us was crumbling away. "Brakes!" I yelled, gripping the roof handle so hard I damn near broke it off. "What do you think I'm doing?" he shot back, jerking the wheel with all of his strength. "We're headed for the edge," Nick informed us, raising his voice. Despite Carl's best efforts, we skidded over the edge. As we plummeted, yelling into the abyss below, we heard the familiar insane laughter of Indiframist that made me feel like we were being dropped into the maw of some giant beast. Boy, that was not a fun time. I've actually had several falling dreams, and let me tell you, experiencing it firsthand was not fun. That's all for now, though. See you all next week.